Take a second and try to define the word game. See if you can come up with a perfect, airtight definition that covers every possible example. Most of us say a game is an activity we do for fun and relaxation. But look at a high-stakes chess match. There is very little relaxation happening here. It's an intense, high-stress, professional competition. So maybe you refine your definition. A game requires a point system, a clear winner, and a loser crossing the finish line. But that definition excludes activities like children playing Ring Around the Rosie. Everyone agrees that's a game, yet there is no score and no end objective to win. The philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein recognized this problem. He looked at board games, ball games, and Olympic events, and realized there is actually no single feature common to everything we call a game. This lecture slide shows why strict definitions fail, coming down to two concepts: overgeneration and undergeneration. If you make your definition too broad, saying a game is just playing, you get overgeneration, accidentally including activities like simply playing in the garden. On the flip side, if you make your rules too specific, requiring teams and a ball, you undergenerate. You accidentally exclude valid examples like solitaire or tag. For centuries, traditional logic relied on necessary and sufficient conditions, a strict checklist an object must pass to belong to a category. But human language doesn't actually work that way. If we aren't using strict checklists to categorize the world, our brains must have a more flexible system. To see how our brains actually do this, let's try a quick experiment. You have 30 seconds. Name as many vegetables as you can in your native language. Go. I can guess your results. You didn't start with celery root or a water chestnut. You likely started with a potato, a carrot, or a tomato. Look at this table from the lecture data. It tracks how often certain items appear in these lists. Across different languages, like Hindi, tomato, has a very high frequency rank. This slide introduces the solution to our definition problem. We understand categories through cognitive models called prototypes. Prototype theory argues we don't categorize objects by checking a list of rules. Instead, we compare them to the best, most typical example. A tomato sits perfectly at the center of the vegetable category, while pumpkins and mushrooms are pushed to the distant outer edges. This is a matter of psychological salience. Certain concepts are simply more central to our thinking, while others sit on the periphery. But this raises a new question. Where exactly does one category end and another begin? At what specific point does a cup become a bowl? Linguist William Labov used 19 objects to test human categorization. Objects 1 and 2 match our ideal prototype of a cup. But as objects get wider, taller, or lose handles, the brain struggles. We hesitate, applying new labels like mug, bowl, or vase. The survey proved there are no hard walls separating these items. There is only a scale sliding from the most basic, undeniable cup out to the most peripheral variations. Category boundaries in language are fuzzy. We only force a strict distinction when we need to make an important semantic contrast. The Twain-Tor paradox. Look at this text outlining linguist Anna Weirspieke's attempt to define a game. She listed 7 essential features, like suspension of reality and well-defined goals. But even this exhaustive list fails to cover every single game. So we return to Wittgenstein. His answer to this problem was a concept called family resemblance. He argued that games don't share a single universal trait. Instead, they share an overlapping network of similarities. Board games share strategy with card games. Card games share scoring with sports. It works exactly how features like eyes or a specific nose shape are shared across different members of an extended human family. Language functions not because we build rigid walls around words, but because of flexible, overlapping connections. You can see this cognitive flexibility at work in modern arguments. Take the endless debate over whether esports qualify as real sports or real games. The controversy exists precisely because esports sit in that peripheral zone of the sport category. They have the competition, but they lack the prototype's physical exertion. When people argue about this, they usually aren't disagreeing about the facts of what esports are. They are just arguing about where to draw their own fuzzy boundary lines. We don't live in a world of strict black and white definitions. We navigate reality using prototypes, fuzzy edges, and family resemblances.